from wherever you are in the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. These stories these breaking news stories, guys, are beginning to get so serious that in all my years of doing YouTube, I have been less and less concerned about wearing makeup or, getting all dolled up for you guys because everything I tell you guys in real life, I actually apply and do and wholeheartedly believe. I think that once again, we have to be 10 steps ahead. And this is definitely something that I could have talked about yesterday, but I really just wanted to, put my health first. As I've told you guys, a little, quick update with my detox, my cleanse, going back to real foods, unplugging from the system. I think I used the bathroom like 9 times yesterday, guys. I have literally just been so freaking like my whole system, my whole way of thinking, from like spending less time on social media to like going back in nature, reading books, or like getting proper sleep. I just want to really bring that to the forefront before I begin in this topic, guys, and other topics I want to talk about. This is like really important, okay? Books, right? This book, for example, that I'm reading, right? The Power of the Subconscious Mind, okay? Like books like this that are still, even, at least in America, that are still, available to read. Because not only is freedom of speech, the First Amendment, and, hard copy books, libraries under attack. These are all sorts of things that are under attack. So at least in America, while we have the chance to actually like connect and read and educate ourselves, I think I can say that it's more important than ever, guys, to really listen to people who know what they're talking about. And in terms of a spiritual community like myself, people who are credible, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a video that I'm bringing to you guys live for those who are replay watchers in the future that watch this video. You guys know how I am, that have been loyal to me and have subscribed to me and have supported me for all these years, back from 2017 when I launched this new channel. Many people didn't know that I actually had a different channel before that, very, 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 very briefly. And God smiled upon me, and I see this channel as a baby. I have grown this baby for basically probably over a decade, if not close to a decade now, which I feel very, very blessed to say. So for those who don't know me, welcome if this is your new time watching me, because I have a lot of new viewers, new subscribers, which I'm very, very proud of, and happy that we're all able to connect here, okay? So I'm going to touch upon the cancellation of his show being pulled off the air, literally, like within the schedule and the confines of him wanting to have a show, right? He had a planned show, he had planned speakers, planned celebrities, and literally in broad daylight, if not the next day, I saw footage of people lining up to go see the show, and they were quickly notified that there was not going to be a show. And then, of course, we got the statement. So, in retaliation to this, there has been many people who have canceled their Disney subscriptions, their Hulu subscriptions, anything to do with ABC or Disney or Hulu. I saw people basically getting rid of their subscriptions account, okay? So if you guys are not on any other social media platforms, if you're not really in the know, that is something that I see people are doing. And if you do have any of those subscriptions, you are able in the feedback area, you're able to say why, okay? Just for those who are willing, who don't know that and don't know that's that's a part of what's going on, in a shock reaction to this, out of nowhere, just pulling this person's show off the air who's given them so much money. Very, very similar to me in terms of Stephen Colbert. I think The View, I'm surprised that The View is even still on cable as well. I think a lot of people are beginning to connect the dots that every single show that is not bought and paid for and not controlled is basically under attack, as well as people, right? We've seen so many different people of all different backgrounds getting fired from their jobs, getting put on these websites without their consent. So if there was ever a time that you guys, should take what I've been saying seriously, I stand corrected again. Okay. For those who don't know much about me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have predicted, guys, so many things. I have been warning you guys. I have been telling you guys, like, this is not a drill. This is not a joke. Okay. You don't have the same rights that they claim we have. Okay. We don't have them. We don't have them. And so for people who are trying to wait and see, when they should they leave? This is it. Okay. Like, this is exactly what I was telling you guys is going to happen, was going to happen. And right under your nose, they're doing this. Okay. Like, right out of like thin air, they're taking people's shows down with no mercy, no warning, no explanation. They are just doing whatever they want to do. So for people out here who didn't take what I was saying seriously about finding somewhere else to go, at least seeking asylum elsewhere, right? At least for the next 3 or 4 years. I told you guys. And I honestly feel vindicated. You know what? And I'm going to take a moment, guys. Like, I'm sorry, I have to soak this in, not that I'm trying to like, gloat, but I have to give myself credit where credit is due, because I think what's happened is a lot of people have just been kind of teetering and tottering on the safety lines, right? Like, a lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines and they've not been taking this seriously. They really think that this is like a joke. Like, people are losing their jobs that they've had for years. People are getting outed by family. People are losing their relationships with family members because if they have a different opinion, or even say anything that is close to having a different opinion, they are getting shut down. They are getting silenced. They're getting threatened. There has been reports allegedly that Jimmy Kimmel has been told by, I don't even know by who exactly, because it sounds very like Men in Gray Suits-ish to me. It sounds like some kind of undercover kind of shit. But allegedly, Jimmy Kimmel has been told to donate to certain causes in a fight and in a petition to go back on the air. So basically, they're telling him to get on his hands, get on his knees, submit to them, take back what you said. And what he said and what he did, he's a comedian, first of all. Okay. If we want to talk about, people who are debaters, people who are podcasters, well, people have to fling these titles around, for their own kind of gain, their own kind of like excuse. Well, Jimmy Kimmel could use the same excuse and say, well, I'm a comedian, right? Before the second term of this administration, I was able to be a comedian, right? And allegedly, from what I saw and people have seen, around the world, the part of the opening show, or I didn't see it live, but a part of the show of when they pulled his show was very short. Like, it was extremely short. And so they're telling you, right? They're telling you, because what happened with Stephen Colbert with Paramount, right? Paramount paid the current person in the Oval Office, I think it was like what, $90 million allegedly, okay, entertainment purposes only. They paid Trump like a lot of money due to the lawsuit, okay? So it was actually like right in the same time frame when Stephen Colbert also received some bad news, okay? So to anybody out here, especially if you're like going to college, or like you're considering that you want to get a higher education and you're not, maybe you're not 21, maybe you're not even 22. Okay. Maybe you're 18, maybe you're 19. If you don't like what's going on, you need to get serious. Okay. And I'm gonna say this, that I feel incredibly vindicated, because I felt like when everything came crashing down, I was one of the many, many few, if not the only one really, who was telling you guys, you don't have much time to get your documentation, right? You don't have much time to figure out a plan because they're coming for your jobs. They're coming for your voice. They're coming for your freedom. In fact, we don't even have the right to an opinion anymore. Comedians, which Jimmy Kimmel is, okay? He's a late night host, talk show, and he's also a comedian. He doesn't even have the right to use less than 5 minutes in his show to talk about something that the whole world sadly has been dragged into, and that's his job, okay? What people do on television is to cover hot topics, as well as reporters, as well as journalists, as well as people who co-produce shows, co-produce scripts, co-produce films, movies, television. That is their job. Okay. And when you tell a comedian, when you tell a late night host that your job and your voice and your opinion is not allowed, then what are you really signaling? What are you really saying? Right? So I stand corrected. Okay. I stand corrected. For those who've just met me, this is maybe your first time seeing me. I have confidently come on here year after year, month after month, day after day sometimes, and I've told you guys, this is not a drill. I watched a video of a young Asian American woman claim that she was laid off without warning, without any explanation from Sephora, which I actually like Sephora, okay? And now I'm considering a lot of stuff because what's happening, guys, is insane, okay? The amount of lawsuits, the amount of legalities, the amount of cases that are going to come out from this past 2 weeks alone, these lawyers are going to get paid. And the sad reality is that American citizens should not even have to go through this. But people are under attack, okay? Allegedly, people are under attack, and it's messy. It's very messy, okay? And people are trying to, my cat's at the door, guys. 1 second. People are trying to, he's spoiled. People are losing their jobs out of thin air. He's spoiled because he hears on the camera. Baby, what do you want? Good morning. Okay. Yeah, guys. I'm a fur baby mom, so he maybe because he hears how passionate I'm speaking, he's like, "Are you okay, mom?" Or whatever. My pet's fine, guys. Okay, so I make sure he's okay. So so I feel extremely vindicated, and this is really the time to wake up. If you guys thought that they were going to give any kind of care about your bills, your sanity, your freedom of speech, your freedom to opinion, you just doing your job. Right, is under attack. So without any kind of discussion, any kind of official talk, out of nowhere, he was pulled, okay? People were literally, listen to this. People were literally standing in line to be seated, right? To go to the concession stand, to buy snacks, to buy a nice drink, a soda pop, and sit down and enjoy the show. And they were turned away. They were turned away without any regard for entertainment, for kickback and relaxing. They were turned away because according to what I heard and what they said allegedly, the president reached out to them and complained. Now, I can't confirm or deny that, okay? I don't work for that newspaper. I don't work for that organization. But from what I've heard, what they've said is that they received grievance from many different higher ups, and they pulled the plug on his show. So people that were sleepwalking into this, people that don't want to get like serious about this, they're in for a rude awakening. And yes, okay, there has been many other people who have been taking a social media break, okay? They're saying that they're tired, they're drained. That's what they want you to feel. What did I tell you guys about energetic vampires? What did I tell you guys about psychological warfare? Okay, don't use that language. Don't use language like I'm drained. Don't use words like I'm tired. Don't use words like I can't do this. Okay, because you're programming, right? The power of the subconscious mind. What they're doing is massaging your brain for more trauma, massaging your brain for more mind control, massaging your brain allegedly for more propaganda. They're wanting you to be slow and low in spirit so that you just roll over and give up. Okay? And so I don't want to speak for this gentleman, right? I don't want to speak for him and say that he's going to roll over, because guess what? Like any other late night host, guys, they have people to pay, okay? They have bills to pay. And I can only imagine that his whole staff, the whole production team is probably in shock. And if he's a good person, which I feel he is, which most, of these people that are, very vocal are, he's got to feel bad. He's got to feel bad, just like Joy Reid from MSNBC, right? When she was let go as well, out of nowhere, with no really any kind of warning. They're gonna feel bad, and they're gonna cry. They're gonna feel bad because they're probably thinking that it's their fault and that they've let their production team down, but they've let their whole, team down. So he may roll over, guys. I'm not seeing it. I'm not purposely seeing into his energy to tell you if that's going to happen or not, but it would not surprise me. Okay. It really would not surprise me if he understands the gravity of what's happening and he doesn't want to be off the air. And so if they're giving him a, manipulative lifeline is how I see it. If they're gonna try to manipulate him into subjection, into submission, into getting on his hands and feet and on his face and bowing down, he may do that because Stephen Colbert's been pulled, Joy Reid's been pulled, Don Lemon, Jim Acosta, to name a few, okay? These are all people who have been silenced. These are all people allegedly who have been docked, who have been scrubbed from the airways. These are people now who have had to go independent, or they have had to fight, literally, probably legally or figuratively or both, fight for their life, pay for extra security to be able to exist, okay? So I don't know. But I just feel like the way that this was so quick, and this was like so just out of thin air, he may do it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that he should be judged for that. I mean, listen, people can judge him if they want, if people want to, one second, got my keyboard. If people want to be mad at him, if he does issue an apology, which, that's neither here nor there. If he does issue an apology, 67, 50, yeah, if he has to donate some kind of money, or, he's coerced into like a fake apology, because it wouldn't be a legit apology, right? Because once again, he's a comedian. He's a comedian, guys. He's a late night talk show host. So do you really think that he didn't know what he was saying, or that he didn't know what was going to happen? He knew. But I don't think that he really cared, because he already saw other people that he dearly loves and respects in the industry get scrubbed from the internet, get scrubbed from their contracts, get blackmailed, get blackballed, get silenced, get tossed out into the wind, into the wayside, into the bucket. So I don't think that he did it by mistake. Okay, I think that he said it because he felt like he wanted to say that, and it wasn't a big portion of his show. From what I could see, allegedly, it wasn't like it was the whole show. He was just talking about this one topic. It was a very, very brief encounter. It was a very, very brief thing. So now that there has been consequences to his opinion, now that there's been, a backlash, if you will, he may bow the knee. Right? He may have to get on his face and knees and give some money, which I think is wrong, because isn't that bribing somebody? I mean, allegedly, just by my own opinion. If you're telling someone to pay you to do something or whatever else, like, isn't that like bribery? Isn't that like illegal to like tell somebody to pay you to get respect or to pay you to get a certain position. Like, that doesn't even sound legal. So I'm kind of surprised if that's not being confirmed or denied according to what I've seen. But if that's actually confirmed, that he has to now pay his own money out of his own pocket to certain organizations that he clearly is not a part of. He's not a board member, right? He's not a board member. He's not a CEO. He's not even a part of any of those organizations. So upon this release of his show being let go, allegedly, if they've said to him, you have to not only issue an apology, but now you also need to pay us, which basically means all the money, I don't know contractually how it works, that maybe all the money that he made from that night, that one episode, that one airtime, maybe what they're trying to say is, give us the money you earned. Whenever you mention one person's name or one topic in particular, pay us. You need to pay us in order to get back on the air. That's like a bribe. Okay. That to me doesn't even sound legal. So I don't think that this is going to go down easy. I don't know. Let me look. I don't know if his show based in Los Angeles or is this based somewhere else? Where is Jimmy Kimmel's show based? I'm almost assuming it's California, but you can't really assume, Where is Jimmy Kimmel's TV show studio located? Let's see where because sometimes there's multiple locations, right? No, it's California. Jimmy Kimmel's show is filmed at the Captain Entertainment Century on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood. Yeah, this is California, guys. It's California. So Gavin Newsom, right? Gavin Newsom has been very vocal, right? Allegedly. Gavin Newsom has not gone down without a fight. So this is probably going to get legal. Okay, if there's any kind of legal clause or any kind of description that fits bribery or coercion, because that is definitely coercion. Okay, legally, this is going to get messy. And if he brings out lawyers and he does a lawsuit or he sues or whatever for wrongful termination or wrongful this or wrong, because there's certain kind of legal terms, guys, that he would have to use. Okay, there are certain legal terms that Jimmy Kimmel would have to use with his lawyers and his team and his support team to take this to head. Okay, this is not going to be smooth sailing. Okay, so any of you guys, right, who live in Los Angeles, California, Hollywood, California, Santa Monica, California, San Francisco, California, if you live on the West Coast or East Coast and you are a part of entertainment, okay, highly consider leaving. And I know that a lot of California natives, because I know you guys are very, very loyal. You guys are a very, very rich state, as Gavin Newsom and the facts will show. California is the richest state in America. It is the most beloved state in America next to New York City, as well as Texas, California, Florida, and places in Atlanta, right? Atlanta, Florida, California, New York. Okay, to name a few. These are hot spots for companies, tech companies, right? Silicon Valley, Hollywood. These are places that thrive, that bring in a lot of money, a lot of capital. So I will tell you guys, my opinion is that if this does go legally, I expect Gavin Newsom to get involved at some point. Okay. Now it's not clear, which I think it's kind of common sense, but once again, I don't like to assume. I'm not in the business of assuming. So until we see it with facts and evidence and proof, I'm not going to assume shit. Okay. I'm not going to assume anything. But if there is a free and fair and real election in 2028 for the position of being the president of the United States of America, if Gavin Newsom runs for president, I can guarantee you that he will have his hand in all of this, especially if this is a counter lawsuit, a counteracted case, right? Not just for Jimmy Kimmel, but for Stephen Colbert, for Joy Reid. The list goes on and on and on. This is not the end, okay, allegedly, of these legal battles, okay? I don't think this is the end. I think that this is only the beginning. And maybe some people, because of their safety, their family safety, for their life, for their well-being, you know, it's a very strong possibility, guys, that a lot of people right now are kind of just ducking off in the corner because they don't want to be threatened with their life. You know, the current president, allegedly, people over the years have kind of assumed that he has mafia ties, he has mobster ties. New York City has a history of that. I cannot confirm or deny that, just for, you know, the purpose of the video, and legally I cannot confirm or deny that. But when the sitting president is telling you something, that's a threat. That's a command, okay? And until that's repealed, until that's appealed, until that's corrected, you're in danger. Your life's in danger, your family's life's in danger, you know, people you work with's life's in danger. So they're being threatened. Let's not make any small light of that, okay? They're being threatened. They're being told that if you don't kiss the ring, you're out of here. And there's been a couple of, you know, major production companies, guys, that I have actually researched myself, because this is a big interest to me for the future. Even in terms of economy wise, I've been really researching this, right? There is so many production, and look it up. Don't just listen to me, right? Everything I'm saying is allegedly, right? Entertainment purposes only. You do your own research, okay? There is so many production companies that are hitchhiking a ride out of the United States of America. Okay, Warner Bros. Let me actually get the official term. Warner Bros. Leaving. Okay, the story that I saw was Warner Bros. Some section or some subpart section of Warner Bros. Company. Okay, the entertainment company, production company, is leaving Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, which is in the South. Leaving Atlanta, Georgia, and going to the UK, which is my home country, the United Kingdom, and Canada. Okay. Now, is that confirmed or denied? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up right now. Warner Bros. leaving America to go elsewhere. And you've also seen, just for the record, you also have seen many actors and actresses who work behind the scenes and in front of the camera who have made these statements. Go on Variety, go on Hollywood Reporter, you know, go on any of these credible Hollywood-based, Hollywood-pushed, you know, media sites, articles, magazines, online, you know, press, online presence, and you will see that they're even when they had the Cannes Film, when you saw all these celebrities that every year, especially American celebrities, they go to France, right? They debut their film. And it's normally a part of the pre-process of the actual Academy Awards, aka the Oscars, which is infamously held in Los Angeles, California. Now, with what's going on, you have to wonder, right? Anybody who's smart, right? Anybody who has their thinking cap on, you have to assume that, is this even going to be in California? Is this even going to be held in a blue state? Is the Academy Awards, is the Grammys, are any of these hallmark American award shows, are they going to be in California moving forward? And I can assure you again, if they're not, I believe that Gavin Newsom, like I said, if he's going to run for president, if there's even still free and fair elections in America, if there's even going to be any kind of election, any real legit election that is ever going to occur, okay, because of all this hoopla, he's going to speak on that, because once again, Gavin Newsom, and the reason I'm bringing up Gavin Newsom is because he's in a very unique position where he is in a position of power. He sees what's going on, right? He's speaking out also, allegedly, in his own way. So I think that this is like the perfect cocktail, right? This is a perfect cocktail for all the bigwigs of LA and the entertainment, you know, sector to come out, okay? They're all going to come out with their own lawsuits, guys. They're all going to come out upset. There's no way that these people who have been on the air for decades are going to just go quietly out of safety for their lives, allegedly, okay, which is common sense. they're going to go into hiding if they're smart, okay? But I can assure you that once that temperature is turned up a notch, and once that nozzle on the heat politically, economically keeps getting turned up, they're not going to back down, okay? Because Gavin Newsom has been leading the brigade, in my opinion. And I think that he doesn't really want to get involved in certain things, but I don't think he has a choice because he's the one that's overseeing what is the economy like, right? How much profits are we bringing in? How well are these hallmark American, historic which used to be American based, but not anymore. Okay. Upon the, second term of this administration, these companies, even car companies, right, are leaving. They're leaving in mass because they can see the smoke, literally and figuratively. They can see that the buildings are on fire. They can see that their people are under attack. So they're not gonna keep feeding a failing cause, right? Nobody who's smart is going to keep feeding into an American-based location when they're not even able to do a show, okay? He wasn't leading a protest. He wasn't like out naked in the streets. He was literally on his show giving his own opinion for a very brief period of time, and he was pulled. So what I'm saying is shareholders, executives, allegedly, people who are behind the scenes, they want a piece of the pie, okay? Anybody who's either, like I said, in front of the camera or behind the camera, they're all gonna want a piece of the pie. And guess what's gonna happen, guys? Once that piece of the pie dries up, they're gonna get out of here. They're going to move their production companies, their backlots, their movie studios, their movie head executive quarters. They're going to leave America. So in reality, as I said, allegedly, okay, entertainment purposes only, okay, if there's actually going to be a real election, presidential election, okay, these are things that people are going to be thinking about is, wow, we have taken hundreds of millions of dollars out of the American economy. And that is what's going to hurt America in the end, is that while you are taking and snatching, actually, and while you're snatching food out of people's mouths, you are also tanking the American economy. So everything has a price. Everything has a cost to pay, guys. Okay. So I expect this to be very, very messy. Like I said, I think a lot of people who have been on the air for a very, very long time, who have been very successful, have brought in a lot of money for these big networks. They're going to regret it. I believe wholeheartedly they're going to regret it, especially if you're going to have a blue president. Okay, which seems very, very almost impossible now, because there's so many things happening that it looks like, democracy is dead to me. Okay, and many of you watching me. I don't know if there's going to be an election. I don't know. But if there is, and there's certain people on the ticket who are either going to run for vice president or different cabinet positions, this is going to be brought up. Make no mistake about it, guys. These kind of economical contracts, policies, proposals are going to be, if the media, right, if the media is even able to report on this accurately, okay, they're going to bring these things up and say, oh my God, oh my freaking God, you have moved American entertainment companies that have brought us billions of dollars. You have taken out of the economy. And so anybody, especially in California, the California residents are probably in an outrage. Because guess what else, guys? That's jobs. Okay? These are jobs being taken out of the market. Okay? These are even potential jobs that are now being stripped overnight. So let's say we have a teenager right now, right? Getting ready to go off to college, wanting to look at, where they want to go to college, right? And they have a dream of being a producer. They have a dream of being a scriptwriter. They have a dream of being a co-writer of a big late night show. That dream is gone. That dream is squashed. And guess where that young pupil, that young student's going to go? They're going to go elsewhere. They're either going to go to a different state or a different country. And right now, the way it's looking, they're going to go out the country. They're going to take their talent. They're going to take their hard work, their dedication, their vision elsewhere. So to back up what I'm saying, Scotland, as we've seen with social media and the data, what it shows is Scotland is now another hotspot for expats. Okay, Scotland, Spider-Man. Everybody here know, Tom Holland, who's Holland, who's British. Actually, I always thought he was Australian, but he's actually British. The guy who proposed to Zendaya. Very, very cute couple, very, very popular couple in pop culture. He was filming Spider-Man in Scotland. And a lot of people were assuming, oh, isn't he filming in New York? Because, the backdrop of the shooting location, it looked like New York. And what the paparazzi were showing is all these camera crews, all these big vans, all these big, levies and all these things that when he performs stunts or he's a stunt double, all these huge, massive amounts of equipment, heavy equipment. They show that, no, this is not in New York. Typically, they would maybe shoot in New York. No, they took the production to Scotland. So that's another real life example of these American directors, these American actors, and not, okay, they're looking to go elsewhere because guess what? They're not going to want to be controlled in that way, okay? Creativity, a part of being creative is having creative expression, creative license to accurately produce something. Okay, so I can almost imagine all the top executive writers, producers, actors, and actresses, they're not going to stay for this. They're going to go where the money is, right? They're going to go where the opportunity is. This is, I think, a good segue to bring into more of a economical context of what's happening, right? Universal Studios, just this year, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, okay, has been able to close a deal on a Universal Studios action-packed theme park, okay, which includes hotels and living and accommodations, gift shops, you name it, right? There's been more talks of bringing more of these American-based theme parks and attractions to England in specific, okay? So another telltale sign, they're looking to expand outside of the United States. Another example of the entertainment moguls leaving. Jay-Z and Beyonce are billionaires. She's had the highest grossing in history. I repeat, the highest grossing tour in history, the Cowboy Carter tour, right? Great tour. Everybody saw, oh my God, it was really probably one of her best tours, if not the best thus far. Grossed over $420 million. Okay. And guess where she made the most money? England. The American celebrities, the American entertainers, they made the most money where? In Europe. So anybody with intelligence is going to say, I don't got to put up with this, right? I make money overseas, right? I get treated better. I get better accommodation. I get better pay. And that's why I think for people who are curious, that's probably why you see so many American celebrities migrating to Europe, because at least in Europe, there is some kind of similarity, right? There is a sort of, especially in England, there is a kind of compadreness where a lot of the trends and cultural acceptance things here that happen in America do happen in the UK. Okay, like Johnny Depp, Beyonce and Jay-Z, Ellen and her wife, things of that nature, right? People who have a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of access. And I actually heard just yesterday that Jay-Z, I'm not even, I can't confirm or deny this once again. I don't want to misspeak. He proposed a bill. Here it is, the story. Jay-Z, Beyonce's husband, right? Two mega moguls worth over $2.6 billion USD, right? the founder of Secree, the founder of co-founder of Rock Nation, Rockefeller Nation. They have all these massive, massive, once again, used to be American-based companies, right? Where people have employees. So not only are they producers, they also are employers. Note that, okay? He proposed a bill for a Caesar's Palace casino in Times Square. Okay, now his first bid was rejected. There was a voting committee, allegedly an all white voting committee is what the public is saying. And that could have had a factor, we don't know. But they have adamantly rejected his first bid to build the Caesar's Palace Casino. And for those who don't know, look it up. Let me tell you guys, there's a lot of movers and shakers. Pay attention, okay? So he has put, over millions and millions of dollars, okay, trying to put it back into a blue states economy, an American economy, and it was rejected. And I was looking at the comments, and somebody said, why doesn't he take that casino bid to England? Why is he trying to take that whole casino thing, entertainment complex thing to Europe? And I think he just might will. So once again, we're seeing billions of dollars, numerous projects, numerous employees, hopeful people who want to be employed, okay? In these job sectors, casino, entertainment, food and beverage, right? Retail, gone. These are valuable jobs, guys. These are valuable stores, right? Retail chains, as well as their own executive chains of business being scrubbed because of what's going on. So I want people to understand that as the Queen Camilla, which people, of course, as well as myself, the British public, because of what happened to Princess Diana, do not see her as queen. But out of respect, I do call her queen because that is her official title, correct? My personal opinion does not have to dictate or change, allegedly, somebody's official title, right? So as the person said, representing America, he called her the queen. And whether people like it or not, that's what she is, okay? Because she's married to King Charles, Queen Elizabeth II's son, one of her sons. So as Camilla said, when Meghan Markle, aka Rachel Markle, was on a little bit of better behavior until she flipped, as Queen Camilla said, their loss is our gain. That's what she said. America's loss is our gain. And that, for me personally, is very exciting. Why? Because that's my home country. That's where I'll be living permanently in the future. I'm going back home. And I see a lot of prosperity, guys, because listen, it is our gain. It is our gain, right? If they want to provoke people to leave the country, they're going to go where they're welcome. That's just kind of like, human compatibility, right? If you're not wanted, if you're not valued, if you're not cherished where you are, you're going to migrate. You're going to seek out other affection, if you will. So as the Queen has said in regards to Meghan, now, perfect segue, now we see Prince Harry is kind of running back with his tail between his legs, allegedly. He's been back on his royal duties, and he also is trying to get back into England. So England is the hot spot. It is the jewel of Europe, as many have said, even as Trump has said. It is a jewel of Europe. And we're going to be prospering because America's loss is our gain. And that's the reality. So lightly, I want to touch upon this PSA that I feel led to speak on. And I really wanted to help, ethnic, especially African Americans, understand that reparations, you can forget about it. Okay. I will end the video with a little PSA that if your only reason and your only, valid reasoning to not leave America is because, as I've heard a lot, is because they assume that they're going to get reparations. This administration, and probably the next, if it's not a blue president, most likely, they're going to ensure that you do not get your so-called 40 acres and a mule, as it was historically coined. You're not going to get it. Okay, it's time to wake up. Okay, I have come to the epiphany, guys, that if African Americans, Native Americans that were native to this land, if they were going to get any kind of compensation, they probably would have got it under an Obama administration, allegedly. Okay, I think common sense, now that the dust has settled with what's going on, I think it's time for this PSA, guys. And if I can, set anybody free to kind of wake up out of that slumber, because I do think that, and hopefully not now, but I do think that a lot of people were playing it safe. I think a lot of Americans were waiting for the pin drop. They're waiting for the shoe to drop, and now they're seeing their jobs getting taken away. They're seeing these projects, these mega $1 million projects being closed down overnight. It's not happening, guys. It's not happening. So I'm even seeing a lot of, entrepreneurs moving to Portugal. Okay, if they're not going to England, they're going to Portugal. They're going to parts of Asia. Thailand is a really, really big one. For Americans, for American expats, their big thing is Bali, Thailand, Japan, Hong Kong, even parts of Africa. Very popular right now. Okay, just Mexico. Another, even Meghan Markle's father allegedly owned a house in Mexico. So for American-born people, their way of escape, their route of escape on average has been Asia, is what I've seen. Asia, South America, different things of that nature, okay? That's more of their thing. But there has been, a lot of people that are, have online money or entrepreneurship, and they also are going to Europe. But if they're not able to easily get into Europe, they're going to Asia, is what I found. Because with some entry level places where you have to apply for a visa or apply for a citizenship, if they're not easily able to get that, they're having to find other places around Europe or within Europe that are not as strict. Okay, Albania. Allegedly, for example, Albania has been one of the hotbeds for Americans fleeing for a better opportunity. So, guys, the chickens have come home to roost. I think that being arrogant and pompous will always bite you in the ass. And I think under this leadership, it's going to significantly destroy America, because whether they like it or not, a lot of progressive, a lot of more, how can I say this? Yeah, progressive, influencers, progressive business people, they have a lot of money. And I don't think that anybody can really deny that. I mean, you cannot deny that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a happenstance, a lot of entertainers who are more left-leaning, they are the ones pumping the money into the economy. You know what I'm saying? It's their perfumes, it's their clothing deals, it's their concerts, it's their food, it's their restaurants. Even in southern states like DJ Khaled, people don't even know this. DJ Khaled, has his own chain of restaurants. A lot of, other Black African American rappers and entertainers, they have their own products, food products, nail polish lines. They get the sneaker deals, what we call trainers in England, but, in America we call it sneakers, expensive shoes. They're the ones bringing in the money. And 9 times out of 10, they're progressive. So I don't understand why you would sabotage your economy because you're saying that either you're going to be on our side or you're going to get the hell out. Now, is that how they feel? I would think so. Okay, because you're not giving them an option. You're not giving them an option. You're saying either you're gonna now pay back money. You're going to have to now go against your conscience, which I don't think anybody should do. I don't think anybody should be kind of baited into lying, because let's be real. If Jimmy Kimmel actually apologizes allegedly, is it legit? No. Okay. He's not going to, most of the apologies that they're looking for, they're fishing for, are disingenuous. Okay. They're not genuine apologies. So to me, I would prefer an authentic apology than just an apology to go back on the air, or to in their shoes per se. They could be saying that they maybe have too much money. Maybe Jimmy Kimmel has enough money and other supporters that maybe he doesn't want to apologize. I think it's really going to depend upon, how many employees were a part of this production, right? What does he feel in his heart? Okay. If he feels like he doesn't want to let this go, he saw how other late night hosts and other people, got canceled, if you will. I don't know if he's going to want to let that go. Especially if he's been on the air for more than 5 years, especially if it's over a decade. I don't know. I don't know if he's willing to let that go. And I think if he's not willing to let it go, I think he will issue a fake apology. But I don't think that he should be bribed into paying anything. I don't think he should be coerced into paying anything that he does not want to pay. I don't think it is even, to me, it doesn't even sound legal to say to somebody, you must now donate on top of the fake apology that they're wanting to extract from him. On top of that, now you must pay us. Okay. That doesn't even sound right. And if this man is intelligent, I'm almost certain that he's going to get legal counsel and ask him, is this even legal? Is this like, is there any kind of like, loophole to counteract this? Because if I'm just going to tell you, if someone came to me and said to me that, you need to apologize, but then on top of that, you need to give your paycheck, I'm going to get a lawyer because why are you threatening me? Why am I being threatened? Like, if I wanted to give an apology, I would have, right? But I think he will. I think he will. To what degree, I don't know, allegedly, but I think that he will. I think he will issue something because I saw the footage of different people from his show, leaving in their cars. It's got to be gut wrenching to work so hard, to put on a great show, and then you feel like because your opinion is not wanted in this country, now your people on your production team and everything else, have lost their job. They've essentially lost their job overnight. So that cannot be easy for him to kind of, work through. It kind of reminds me of when Piers Morgan was blackmailed by Meghan Markle, as well as Sharon Osbourne. Remember when that whole thing went down, when she was going to different news stations and complaining about when they were talking about her, very similar energy. Okay, very controlling, manipulative energy. And she was trying to get them fired. And she did, actually. In fact, it was so heated that and Piers Morgan is very credible. He's very respected. He walked off the show, and they were constant. And I think for clickbait, quite frankly, they constantly had him talking to opposing people who were very, very pro Meghan. And it was like they didn't want him to have an opinion. And the crazy funny thing about it is that especially the British public, the British citizens, didn't like her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's some that adore her, that kiss her ass, but like a lot of the British public did not like her behavior, including myself. So I found it hilarious that they expected Piers Morgan to just roll over. And as we saw in a result of that, he did not. He found another station, right? He began to be more independent, right? He gravitated to more independent commentary or independent channels, as well as online, as well as traditionally on the television. So where there's a will, there's a way, guys. Okay. Now, how quickly people like Piers Morgan and people like Jimmy Kimmel and people like Stephen Colbert are going to find their place in the world, per se, is a mystery. Okay. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to work for free. No one's going to willingly work for free. So when you're getting back up and running and you've been, fired or let go, or you've lost your show, naturally, I think somebody who has a real passion for reporting and a real passion for being a comedian, they're going to want to get back out there. But keep in mind, they still got bills. Okay. Don't let the Hollywood lights fool you, right? They all got bills. So at some point, they're going to have an income. And so I don't know. I mean, nowadays, a lot of, I think it's actually wisdom, but nowadays, a lot of, well-known celebrities, they have companies, and sometimes they have these companies or brands or businesses, and it's not under their name. They have an alias, right? They have a different name, but they own it. So, like for example, Cardi B, who's also announced her pregnancy to, as she said, her boyfriend Stephon Diggs, an NFL player, very very well paid NFL player, I should say. She's one of the most rich rappers, American based as well, from the Bronx, New York. She another New Yorker, right? So, blue states bring the money. Okay, let's just be real. Blue entertainers, blue states, they make America great, okay? Because they're the ones who are bringing in the money. And what did Cardi B do? She created her own alcoholic whipped cream. Okay, people didn't really know that. People weren't catching on. People thought that she was maybe just, promoting a product, or somebody else's product. No, she's either a co-founder, or she is. I think she is the founder of that company. Let's see what Cardi B, also from New York, another blue state. Cardi B, I think it's called Whip Shots, right, guys? And it's a very very popular brand. Who is the owner of this, or a founder, I should say? Who is the founder of this? I want to see who is the founder of this. Let me put my thing on Don't Disturb. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I didn't mess up my stream. Oh God. Who is the, let me just make sure, guys, who is the founder of this? And it is early, so I normally, obviously I'm gonna get calls because it's early in the morning. Let me just go back and see here. 1 second, guys. I want to see who is the owner of that company, because I know for a fact that she was reported one of the, if not the most, one of the richest rappers. And as we can see, she's pregnant again. She's had a lot of children in between her career. And not just that, she doesn't have to go on tour, right? In reality, she doesn't have to go on tour. She doesn't even have to do an album to make money, because why? She's reinvested her money into other small businesses. Okay. Nothing small about it, but that's just the official term. So I would not be surprised, guys. I would not be surprised if, you begin to hear more and more celebrities who are co-founders, shareholders, they're running things behind the scenes, and the more money you have to spread around and to dip your reinvest your money into different pots and things like that, the better off you are. If you're only making your money off of a network that could be pulled off the air, or a show could be pulled off the air, that's not a good strategy. Okay, the strategy moving forward for these progressive leaning celebrities who are under attack is to have multiple streams of income. Okay, if you're only going to rely upon a network to pay your bills, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, financially. So it's my hope that anybody who's been doxxed or blackballed or blackmailed, it's really my hope that they've been smart enough, right? Smart enough to put their money aside for retirement, reinvest it back into whatever they want to reinvest it back into, and figure it out. Because at least for now in America, the hopes of them getting these gigs back is far and wide in between. So with that said, as the Queen has said, their loss is our gain. And I'm going to extend that phrase to any other country besides America. Okay. Any other mega business deal, or any kind of affluential celebrity that actually owns a lot of capital, a lot of influence, a lot of power, that goes anywhere, like England, Portugal, Asia, Africa, right? Australia is another big one. They're going to prosper. They're going to prosper. They're going to find a way. They're going to figure it out. And it's going to be their loss is going to be America's loss and their gain. And that's what you're going to see. And if the numbers are not manipulated, which they've been trying to do, I think it speaks for itself, right? I mean, even if they show a different report and they cook the numbers, the reports is going to show that people are not employed, right? So, for example, Hollywood, California, they're going to show the negative, minus 1,000 jobs. Like, no matter what they do, if something is closed down, or a shop is closed down, or a show is pulled off the air, it has to be accounted for. It will be accounted for, guys. Okay, so they can't just do that and then get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like the economy will reflect that. The jobs report will reflect that. The consensus in that city, in that state, is going to reflect that. And quite frankly, word of mouth, right? You're going to see Californians, whether Californians are red or blue, I mean, because there is some red people in California, right? They're going to speak out and say, I can't get a job, or they're going to say that my job's been taken from me, or they're going to say that, we were going to have this, multi-million dollar film shoot in, let's say Studio City, but now it's gone to Scotland, or it's gone to England, or it's gone to Australia. I remember back in the day, actually, there was a lot of production in Australia. Australia is another big one that people kind of under the radar, but Australia is massive, guys. New Zealand and Australia is massive, and they have beautiful locations to shoot in. So it is their loss. It's at the end of the day, it's going to be America's loss. It's not going to be America's gain. And when people kind of wake up and smell the coffee, they're going to regret it, because in reality, that money could have gone to us and American people. And people get fed up. You know what I'm saying? People get fed up and they say, you know what? I have another way to go. I can make money elsewhere. And like I said, I think especially for my beehive out here, my little beehive out here, Beyonce making the most money in England should have been a telltale sign, y'all. She made like over $60 million, right, from her shows in England. And I'm pretty sure that's probably including merchandise, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm assuming it's including merchandise. Like when she had the pop-up stores, and she was selling T-shirts and flags and hats. The fans. I mean, I don't know. But the two places that she earned the most, look it up, was England and New Jersey. New Jersey / New York. Okay, she didn't have any particular shows in New York, but on the tour, like on the face of the tour, they labeled it as New Jersey / New York. But the stadium which she performed at was in New Jersey. So basically, the way that they advertised it was like a tri-state kind of deal. So anyway, you all, before I get off of here, I just want to say, yeah, once again, get ready to touch on that, is, African Americans, African American entertainers, African American businessmen, even culturally speaking, right? African Americans deserve a lot more credit for making this country what it is, and they're severely under attack as well as Hispanics, and they've been for a very long time in this country. Brown and Black people have been severely under attack, and you know what? I keep telling you guys, and this goes for everything in life, you are valued elsewhere. Okay, never stay somewhere where you're not celebrated, and never stay somewhere where you're not valued, because it speaks more to your self-esteem and how you see yourself than anything. And a good litmus test, is if you respect yourself, is that you don't stay in toxic environments, right? You don't give business to countries that don't respect you. You just don't do it. So I think that I think that ethnic celebrities especially are highly intelligent to kind of show that, you know what, I can survive without you. You know what I'm saying? Sadly, it's sad to say, guys, but like even Bad Bunny, who is Puerto Rico, as I went to Puerto Rico this year by the grace of God with my mom. Puerto Rico was beautiful. I loved Puerto Rico. I went this year for the first time. It was a blessed experience. It was, I really did fall in love with the island. It was very, very nice, and very, very nice. It's just very, very nice. I like Puerto Rico, right? And Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican, right? And he has no shows in America. This is a Grammy-nominated, Grammy Award winner, and he is a very, very special Latino entertainer. He is a Hispanic. He is an American, right? A Hispanic American, a Latino American, if you will. And he was saying that he did not put any shows in America because X, Y, and Z, as you can imagine. So once again, you're because of this current predicament. They're isolating people, right? And Americans who should be able to enjoy other Americans, body of work, are missing out because, I'm sure there's a lot of Hispanic American people you know, who would love to be at a Bad Bunny concert. I mean, think about the logistics of it. Like, you have a whole population of people all over the country who are Hispanic, and because of what's going on, somebody who's a Grammy award winner, songwriter and singer and producer, right? Amazing, beautiful music, beautiful island, beautiful place, right? Being you know, attacked basically. And now you have a Hispanic American saying, well, I can't do any shows in North America because, I don't think it's safe, right? I don't want my people to get, racially profiled, allegedly, reportedly. You can figure that guys out. I don't have to even, go too deep in that. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, right? So I found that very troubling because that's not just people's, entertainment and people's enjoyment, to kind of have a little stress reliever, enjoy their life, making beautiful memories. Now they're gonna have to pay, 3 times, if not 12 times more, for hotel, flight accommodation, food, all these Hispanic people, even not Hispanic, but, even if it was Hispanics, mainly going to those concerts, what are they gonna do? They're gonna have to now shell out more money to see a favorite artist, and probably fly half across the world. And right now, that's not very affordable. Okay, not everybody wants to spend $1,000 plus on a concert, right? I mean, not everyone can afford that. So another example I'm showing you guys, another left-leaning big star, right, who brings in a lot of money. And he sadly had to tell the press that, sorry, I can't do North American shows. I can't perform in America, basically. It's not safe enough. It's not accommodating to me and my team. You know what I'm saying? And Shakira, I think Shakira as well. I don't even know if Shakira had her tour as well this year too, right? Shakira? Another Latina? Let me see. Colombian, right? She's a Colombian. Now, I don't know if she's an American citizen, but she is Colombian. Is Shakira, let's see. Is she an American citizen? No. She's Colombian born, moved to the US. I think, yeah, they said she lives in Spain. Correct. She lived in the US and also Spain for several years, owning properties in both countries. So, right. So what if all the Hispanic singers, think about this, guys. What if all the big time Hispanic singers say, I'm out of here, right? I'm going to go buy a property in Spain. I'm going to go back to the motherland, right? One of the motherlands of the Latino people. What if they all say, I'm just going to stop touring in North America? Or even South America. I'm going to stop touring in America, period. And you're going to have to go to Europe to see me. That's awful. And J-Lo as well. Isn't J-Lo another progressive? Well, blue. I say blue, to put it bluntly. Very proud of her. Also Puerto Rican heritage from the Bronx, New York as well. Big earner, big spender. You are attacking your own people. It makes no sense, right? Like, you're attacking the very fabric of what makes America great. And that's immigrants, right? That's a part of it. America has always been a melting pot. Okay? And I don't see how this is wisdom. I just don't see how this is wisdom when you're kind of like trying to exile people out of the country that bring in a lot of money. If you don't want to look at them as human beings and as equal to you, well, I'm sure if you're a greedy bastard, the least you can do is look at the logistics and say, oh my God, there's all this money leaving the economy. There's all this, all this prestige leaving the economy. And who are going to buy these multi-million-dollar houses, right? Who is going to sell out these stadiums, right? Because tourism is down. And actually, let's just get even more real. I'm going to look it up. What states in America 20 as of today? Let's do ChatGPT, guys. Let's get real. are down in tourism. I know Las Vegas, Nevada is one of them, because I've been seeing a lot of Las Vegas natives complaining about how their casinos are empty, their hotels are empty. It's like a desert. It's literally like a desert. I mean, nobody is going there anymore. So these policies, these ideologies are toxic to the American economy. That's what I want to say in closing. So reparations, African Americans, you're not going to get it, right? You're not going to get it. And I think it's time to put that PSA out here. If you were going to get reparations, you would have got it by now. And don't hope, because even the Bible says hope deferred makes the heart sick. So when you're hoping for a lofty dream that doesn't look very, likely to come true, you need to kind of, get your head out of your ass and realize that you are not a priority to this country. Black and brown people, ethnic people are not a priority to the country under this administration. And you have to understand that, okay? Don't expect them to actually care about you, because they're never going to care about you. So that's what I really want to say to my African Americans watching is you're waiting for reparations. You're waiting for things that are never going to happen. And like I said, if it's ever going to happen, it's not going to happen in most of America. It's probably going to only happen in California, because California is the only state that's actually put legislation across potentially to get approved. But it's yet to happen. And like I said, with the climate, with what's happening right now, a free and fair election being a possibility to me looks 0%. I wouldn't even give it 1%. I think it's not going to happen, guys. So with that said, I hope I was able to educate and kind of wake up people that are not really in the know of what business deals, what mega multi-million-dollar projects are being sabotaged because of these racist policies. I really hope that people will understand that America will never be great without Black and brown people. And cannot be great, because every country is diverse that is strong. I repeat, every country that's great is diverse and strong and is accepting and wants business, not trying to push people out to say, you're not welcome here. No, every economy, every country that does great respects its native people. And African Americans are native to this land, and they have been spit on. They have been abused. Their lives are being taken, as we've seen allegedly with the two young men that have been, taken out. And there's, literally investigations happening right now on the abuse of young men being found hanging from trees. And of course, because of all the censorship, I've not really been able to even talk about that, because it's just such a, horrific thing. But this country doesn't love you. Okay. This country doesn't respect you. And I am in the business of going where you're loved, going where you're accepted, and going where your dollars are valued. And that's why Target and other companies are going to capitulate, because their lack of diversity and lack of attention to detail is going to bankrupt them. And that's what they fucking deserve. All right. So I love you guys. Thank you for watching. But as you can see with Target, right? Like, they're struggling. They are struggling to get back, because why? You pissed on Black people. You've pissed on Black Americans. You've pissed on the LGBTQ, which makes no sense, because the section they had in the store of the LGBTQ thing was nothing in comparison to what they normally push. Like, everybody has a right to have a holiday, to have a celebration of who they are. And like I said, economically, America is stronger together than divided. And anybody who doesn't believe that is, what they are, right? But any other country, anywhere in the world, even my home country, I was there back in 2020, and I saw, gay pride flags. It didn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you want people to not be themselves. I mean, you have to be accepting. You know, if you want to have a well-rounded society full of opportunity and joy, you have to be accepting. And if you're going to be a nation of not being accepting, then you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer, you're going to fail, and you're going to be at the bottom of the list. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. So in terms of America, at least with the American structure, America only does well when it has people of ethnic origin, on average, because why? The data shows they spend a lot, they invest a lot, they bring new ideas, new concepts, new inventions to the economy. And disregarding brown and black people from the economy and safe spaces is a recipe for disaster. You know, Steve Jobs was not American per se. He was of Syrian descent, I believe. And you know, he's a brown, he's an immigrant. Okay, basically basically he's an immigrant, right? And you know, look what he brought to America. He brought freaking Apple, right? Yeah, he's a mixture of Syrian and Swiss German biological blood. That's an immigrant. Okay, Steve Jobs was an immigrant. He's an ethnic immigrant, and look what he brought to the world. He brought Apple, you know, the most popular tech company in the world, and he based it in where? California. So chew on that. Think about that. Think about, for all the haters out here who don't think this thing's legit. It's immigrants. It's immigrant people that have brought the prestige over a millennia to America. And that's a fact. Okay. Steve Jobs is of what? Syrian and Swiss German descent, an ethnic person. Okay. Who was Americanized and based his company in America. Even Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is also not American. He's of Cuban descent. Okay. So when you know who you are and you know where you come from and you know what you bring to the table, never accept disrespect. Never accept disrespect when you're the ones who are making America what it is in reality. And the economics, the data shows that. Okay. So that's just some food for thought. Do your own research. Everything I'm saying here is allegedly for entertainment purposes only, but you do your own research, okay? A lot of these entrepreneurs are of immigrant descent, and they are immigrants, actually. They're actually just frankly, they're immigrants. And to spit on them is spitting on America, is spitting on our economy, and there's going to be consequences, right? And so, you know, it seems it's going to be consequences economically to the country. And I think that it's a very, very big misstep of a lot. So that's what I want to say. Harsh closing, because it is harsh. It's a harsh reality. It's a sad reality of how, you know, that way of thinking can really poison a society. But you know what? It's their loss. It's their loss. And families and companies and businesses and entrepreneurs are going to find elsewhere, and they are going to prosper. And you can believe that. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. So please feel free to subscribe, share, heart, support. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free. It's more than welcome. It's more than welcome. I have those links there for those who do want to, which people do. I'm very, very grateful. It does help a lot, especially with the censorship. It helps a lot. And, you know, the mind control is going on around here. And I wish the best. I wish the best for us all. Sorry to hear about Jimmy Kimmel, but, you know, that freedom of speech is gone. And I think legally he's going to have to really, really fight. And we'll see. You know, we'll see. Well, maybe while I made this video, he may have issued a apology, and maybe he'll go back on the air. Who knows? But it's a very sad state of affairs when we have this kind of energy in the country. I don't think it's very helpful. And so all the best. Love you guys. Bye. Thank you for watching. Mwah. See you in the next video. Bye. Thank you guys. Bye.